Hello and welcome to this week's edition of All About Berea, brought to you by BereaOnline.com, the Berea Citizen, and Linton Cole Associates. I'm Chad Hembree.
And I'm Beth Meyers.
Joining us in studio, we have Mr. John Schinhofen, and we are so glad that you're here with us. We have an empty chair here as well, where Mr. Robert New was going to join us, but he is not going to be able to make it. That's okay. We'll go right along. We have a full show lined up for you this hour, including several stories that Beth has worked out for us. We've got our sports section, which will be updated by Jonathan, and we've got two guests coming on here. The first guest is actually Jeannette Rowlett, local artisan, and the second guest is Jennifer Rose, an Appalachian songstress. She's going to come sing for us and talk to us a little bit about what's going on in her life.
Sounds like a great lineup.
Well, thank you for joining us, and now it's time for us to get on with Four Things You Know, sponsored this week by Good Impressions Design. Good Impressions is a full-service screen printing and design shop conveniently located on Glades Road near Madison Southern High School in Berea. You can visit them online at goodimpressionsdesign.com. Now I'll turn it over to our senior news editor, Miss Beth Meyers, for Four Things You Need to Know.
Thanks, Chad. So this is Beth with the 4 things you should know about Berea this week. First of all, the Berea swimming pool, located behind Berea Community at the park, has opened for business this past Saturday. Their hours are going to be Monday through Saturday, 11 to 6:30, Sunday, 1 to 6:30. So those of you, as we're now getting weather hotter, who want to take a dip are able to. Adults, $4, children, $3, and anyone after 4:30 p.m. pays $2. They will still be doing the free family swim on Tuesday nights, which is from 6 to 8. So any of those who want to just get a quick dip without paying, keep Tuesday nights on your schedule. The other summer activities happening in Berea are the Kentucky Guild of Artisan Craftsmen Spring Fair. It's actually been several years since it's been at Indian Fort Theater, but this Saturday and Sunday, they are going to have the Spring Fair. Hours 10 to 6 on Saturday, 10 to 5 on Sunday. So people who would like to see the new guild members and see what kind of art they have, come out in support of the guild. They have recently actually moved to a new building, the old Powder Mill Pottery. And if you haven't had a chance to take a look at it, go in and take a look. They've really renovated. It's a beautiful exhibit space on the first floor. So keep that on your calendar for this weekend. And one other kickoff for the summer is the summer reading program for the library. On Saturday, to kind of kick off all things library and all things summer, they're going to have a Readers of the Lost Book, Magic, Comedy, and Adventure from 2 to 3. And then they'll have, after that, from 3 to 4, an ice cream sundae social, free balloons, and mural painting. So for the kids getting out of school and want to kind of jump right into reading, take that on your calendar as well this Saturday. For the fourth thing in 4 Things About Berea, just to let Berea residents know who use Berea Municipal Utilities, there is going to be a hike in electric rates by about 4.5%. Now, that should be clear that that's because of a KU raise in selling their electricity, it's actually a pass-through expense. You're not going to see it a 4.5% on your entire bill, just on the amount of electricity you use. That will go into effect on July 1st. And that's it for 4 Things About Berea.
Just in time for air conditioning season, huh?
Exactly. We've been having a cooler summer so far, but I believe that's going to be behind us soon.
Well, don't you think KU kind of had that in their mind when they set that to start with? It is a pass-through. So if your bill is running a couple $100 a month, it's not going to go up 4%. It'll be just on the actual usage, not on the base rate or on any of the water fees or sewer, anything like that. So it shouldn't be that big of a hike, and it was
That's
a straight
right.
pass-through.
And of course, everything else, water, sewer, and then the service charge for electricity are all going to stay the same.
Well, I'd like to talk more about the guild, but since Jeanette's going to be on the show later, I think I'll just hold off and have my questions with her. But it does sound exciting that they're going to be back at the Indian Fort Theater. I mean, that's where it was as long as I can remember. So that's kind of unique to me. And
for those of you who remember, was over 3 years ago. They actually went down to the Berea Memorial Park and had the spring fair there. And actually, what Jeannette told me is that while the craftspeople were fine with it, it was the patrons who really preferred to go back to Indian Fort.
I can understand. It's kind of a unique place to have it out in the woods like that. It's kind of away from everything. It was really nice having it in Berea, though, and it does work there. I mean, especially using the Spoon Bread Festival as kind of the model of how they took advantage of that area for the first time. That was kind of the model that the cities used after that.
Well, and it was really great for us. We just took a hop and skip and a jump down the street, and we were right there at the crafts fair. But, so in that way it was fun. But there was a feeling of being things a little more close together. I mean, the nice thing about the Indian Fort Theater is I could let my kids just kind of race ahead in the forest, not worry about streets, not worry about the safety issues.
Well, then maybe you share our opinion that it felt like a bigger deal to go out to Indian Fort. It felt like it was a trip. It was an event.
The traffic was certainly worse.
Yeah, it required convincing your children to get in the vehicle.
Which with Mason is a big deal. Getting him to do anything. He is such a homebody. He does not want to go anywhere. All right, well, I want to add something on here, and this isn't necessarily something everyone needs to know, but something that was near and dear to me, and I want to say farewell to my friend Ellis Hogg. Ellis Ray Hogg was 60 years old. He was a Berea resident. He went to his eternal resting place on Tuesday, May the 28th. He was a great friend of mine, and he was a bright spark here in the community, always jovial to be around and just very entertaining. The reason I got close to him is he owned a restaurant called Hog Heaven down in Old Town Berea, and I had a computer shop in Old Town Berea, so I ate lunch at Hog Heaven almost every day. But it became a ritual of sorts. Like, we would migrate down there, and it was the gathering place, and we would just have a great time and tease and cut up. And he always encouraged me to record my music, because I was always playing my guitar and fooling around it. And you know what? Now he's passed on, and I never did record that music that he wanted me to. So you think about these things in the back of your mind. That was years and years ago.
I sense a memorial album coming up, Chad.
So I want to say that I will mourn his passing for quite some time, and my heart is with Jeannie and Ed, Matt, and Michelle during this time, and just best wishes for them. And I know it's a hard time. Mm-hmm. All right, we are going to now talk about this week's calendar. Berea can be a happening place, and this week is no exception. So let's see what all we've got on the list here, Beth.
Oh, yeah, definitely happen as the school lets out, so all the summer programs are starting. I already went over a few, like the summer reading kickoff at the library at 2 p.m. There's also going to be the 14th annual L&N Day this Saturday at the Berea Welcome Center. This is something I think Belle Jackson looks forward to every year. From 9 to 5. So it's memorabilia for show and sale, model trainings, exhibits, and much more. It's free and open, so everyone's invited to check that out. There's also going to be a car show blast from the past from 9 to 5 on Saturday. Now, this is something that's sponsored by the tourism, but it's to benefit the Berea Volunteer Fire Department. It's a $12 registration if you want to take your car in. It begins at 8 p.m. So you take down your car to Russell Acton, register for $12, and you can be in the show. And just a little shout out to them. One reason that Berea has had such success at keeping good crews, keeping insurance rates down for all of us is because of all the volunteers that are out there and kind of cutting the cost for all of us, because that can be quite an expense. So I think it's... And they've been real active with doing fundraising this year, and I'm glad to see that. Other things that are going on Saturday is there's going to be a Spires reunion at the park area past the swimming pool from 10 a.m. to dusk. So Spires relations or friends are invited. You can call Mary Lee Todd at 986-1868 if you have questions. And, of course, there's always the farmers market, 9 to 12, which is going to go on at the lawn at St. Joseph Berea Hospital. As I've already said, the Kentucky Guild will be going on both Saturday and Sunday. That's going to be a $5 gate charge with children under 12 for free. And then on June 4th, there's going to be a couple of fun things
You came in
happening in
loaded.
the
It really
library.
is
I came
happening.
in loaded, man. This is great. There's two things happening in the library. One is make compost with red wigglers at 2 p.m. at the public library, and zombie makeup is at 3:30. Now, I don't have the details on that, but it's certainly intriguing enough for me to just show up and find out what's going on. There's also oh, look at me, I've got a Tuesday is the 4th, right? Tuesday, June 4th. There's also there's going to be a kind of Parks and Rec is starting to do this arts and crafts program, evidently at 6:30 p.m. at Old Kentucky RV Park and Campground. That's free and open to the public, and that's going to be on Tuesday evening, 6:30 p.m. And again, we've got the farmers market. June 5th is Craft Mania at the Madison County Public Library at 10, which is also going to be at 1:30 p.m. and 4 p.m. That's going to be an ongoing weekly event. And then the Liberty Avenue Baptist Church has started an interesting program. It's a kickoff for Celebrate Recovery that's going to be on June 6th. That is a ministry for hurts, habits, and hang-ups at 5:30 p.m., cookout, fellowship, and large and small group sharing. People who are interested in this can call Pastor Ken Felty at 986-9249. Then there's also going to be at 3 o'clock on June 6th an I Dig music show, Madison County Public Library in Berea, called Howl at the Moon with a Ground Dwellin' Tune, Music and Silliness with Tom Sealing. So I think that takes us for the week then.
Well, I got one more thing to add. Brigadoon Studios will actually be filming on one of their new short films called We'll Work for Food, and they're needing extras on Saturday morning, June the 1st, from 9 a.m. till noon. Whack the
That was me.
Instead of whack-a-mole, it's whack-a-microphone. But anyway, they will be needing extras if you want to come down there and be in one of their films. This film will actually be going to Sundance, so they're quite excited about that. And if you want to be involved, just show up in Old Town Berea at 9 o'clock a.m. Actually, you can make a day of it. Go down to the L&N days, right? And then
That's
be in a movie.
Check out the cars.
Yeah, check out the cars and then go down to the park to the Guild Fair. So you can have a full day on Saturday. And
you know, Chad, it's way cool that we have like a local studio now in Berea. So
that has been nominated
nice.
for awards. Yes.
Hey, okay.
Anyway.
Award nominated.
Yes.
Studio.
We'll get Jeremy Grand in here one day just to talk to us about some more things going on. But anyway, I'm going to go straight. We're going to run close on having both guests here. We're going to go straight to Jonathan. And Jonathan is our news analyst and chief sports editor. He's going to talk a little about sports going on this week.
Well, it's always good when we see some of our high school athletes move on somewhere where we can see them, like Berea College. I think it's accurate to call Aaron Ponder from Madison Southern High School the great Aaron Ponder. Beth had a relationship with him through the newspaper.
Well, that might be a little strong, but yeah, I did an article about him.
It was a good article. Anyway, so we got to watch Aaron Ponder at Berea College, and that was really nice. So here at Berea Community High School, they are sending 4 athletes to Berea College to play for the Mountaineers. And if you know Berea Community, it's small, and they have to share athletes quite a bit. So we've got Jonathan Smith, who plays baseball and runs cross country. Colin Weckman, who plays soccer, runs cross country, and plays tennis. Samuel Jackson, playing tennis, and Christopher Robinson, he goes by Topher, playing tennis. And so for the Mountaineers baseball team, that's what Jonathan Smith is going to. He's been playing varsity baseball since the 8th grade. I have a funny story about him, though. He was doing running just for exercise, just for fun, and somebody convinced him to enter the Berea Police Department 10K in 2012. There were 56 runners, and he finished first place. He finished first place with enough time to sit down and have a cup of coffee before the second place person came in. It was over 3.5 minutes. And that caught the attention of the Berea cross-country coach, Damon Rosenbarker. And I was there at the, they call it the Run the Plank. In May 2012, it was sort of a fundraiser for the cross-country team. And Coach Damon Rosenbarker was all over Jonathan, just talking to him about running cross-country, being on the team, and telling him he needs to come out. And so that 5K race was run, and he won by over 2 minutes in that one too, the second place runner. So we've got some very talented athletes here at Berea Community. Colin Weckman was, like I said, he was on the cross country team and also playing tennis. The tennis team won back-to-back regional titles, and they've been to the state tournament 3 times in the last few years. And so Colin Weckman's going to be playing soccer, but he was a big part of that tennis team. And Samuel Jackson and Topher Robinson, Samuel went to the singles finals, regional singles finals twice in the last 2 years. This last year he had to play the teammate for the championship, and has been to the state tournament. So these guys have been really successful here at Berea Community, and it's going to be nice to see them continue that at Berea College for the Mountaineers. And
from what I understand, they got full athletic scholarships at Berea College, right?
Yeah, Berea College.
They can say that and get away with it, right? That's what matters.
It's completely legitimate.
That's right. So, and of course, on June 1st, one of the things that wasn't mentioned, probably because I'm about to mention it, is the fundraiser for the Madison Southern High School football team, Chase for the Championship. It's a 5K run. Starts at 8, registration's at 7, $25, I believe, and probably too late to guarantee yourself a t-shirt. But in that regard, I have a little bit of a public announcement, or a public service message. If you're planning to run a 5K race, you shouldn't carry a full-sized football with you while you're doing it. I don't know if anyone else out there had thought
because of all those people who are going to attempt to carry footballs.
Yeah, well, I've done that work for you. I attempted it today, and it's a very bad idea. I was going to do it for the MSHS Chase for the Championship, and I didn't even make it 5 kilometers. So no football for me this Saturday.
And are you going to remind everyone of the challenge that you made?
Yeah, I'm gonna
the gauntlet that has been thrown.
That's right. Yeah, I'm gonna donate $1 to the football team for every Madison Southern High School athlete who comes out and beats me. And so I'm hoping there's more offensive linemen than soccer players and track, but I don't know what my luck is going to be like on that.
Now, how many of us have to hold you while they beat you? No, I'm not going to beat you.
Well, if you make me carry the football, then I think just about everyone's going to beat me because I can't even finish. But
do they take credit cards at the?
I'm gonna
I'm calculating our balance right now.
Refinance the house and pay my pledge in installments. So.
All right, that was pretty good. There's a lot going on, and I'm glad to see that we're retaining some of our athletes here in the community.
Absolutely.
Thanks a lot, Jonathan. Appreciate you bringing that update to us. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, actually, we'll be having Jeannette Rowlett join us from the Guild. So thanks for joining us, and we'll be right back after these messages. Hello and welcome back to All About Berea. We have 2 special guests joining us, and they're actually both in the studio right now, but we're going to start with Miss Jeannette Rowlett, and I'm going to have you introduce them both. But also in the studio with us is Jennifer Rose, who will be joining us with some musical entertainment later. But go ahead, Beth.
Yeah, so I asked Jeannette Rowlett in, who's the executive director of the Kentucky Guild of Artists and Craftsmen, and also an artist herself, who has a shop down in the Old Town district of Berea. And since the spring fair of the Guild will take place this weekend, we have asked her to come in and chat with us for a little bit about it. So welcome. Thanks for coming, Jeannette.
Thanks for having me.
So this will be the first time in, I think, 7-8 years since it's been at Indian Fort, right?
Yeah, it's been quite a few years.
And I guess for the last 3, you guys went to Bowling Green?
We were in Bowling Green for 3 years, and then came back, and it's been a couple years, I guess, since we decided to go back to Indian Fort.
Have your spring homecoming. Of course, the fall fair was always at Indian Fort Theater, but this will be the first time. And so I know usually it had been the 3rd weekend in May, right, that the Guild had always done there. So why don't you tell us why you decided to move it to June 1st?
Well, it's kind of ironic that we moved it because of all the rain. And what's the forecast for this weekend? Rain. We can't get away from it. But that was the reason. We've had tornadoes and all in May, so we decided we'll move it up a week.
Have you ever had tornadoes actually happen in the area where you were going to do the Guild Fair?
The couple of years ago at the fall show, the tornado that came through Kirksville, we got the kind of the tailwinds off of that, and we were setting up, and we had a few tents blown down, but that's about it.
So, Jeannette, how long have you been executive director now of the Guild?
I've been director since 2007, director and president at one time, and now just director.
And I know one thing that surprised me and actually also impressed me is that Jeannette actually does this as her volunteer work, does not take a salary as executive director, which I was pretty impressed by. So tell us about what we're going to be seeing at the Spring Fair on Saturday and Sunday.
Well, we're hoping that you're going to see lots of demonstrations. We have about 13 different artists that are going to be doing everything from putting seats in chairs to turning wood. We're going to have some people doing some things with wool who grow, have their own sheep, grow their own wool, be doing some things there and demonstrating. We're going to have, basket makers, just an array of things. Right now, I'm so tired, my head's kind of spinning, so I can't remember everything.
I appreciate you coming to talk to us in the middle of the storm here.
Yeah. But we've got a good show planned, and what I'd really like to see is for our local folks to come out. I don't think they've been to a spring show, now in a while, and we got lots of parking, and it's one way that our 13,000 people in Berea can support us. We've got quite a population, and we'd really like them to come out and enjoy the whole weekend with us.
And it's really not a a $5 cost, and actually children under 12, I believe, or 12 and under are free, right?
Are free, and we're going to have our puppets and such are going to be out there, and they're going to be doing puppetry for the children. And
right, Richard and Mary Brown, right?
Yes,
yeah.
Well, Richard's coming. Mary's staying in the shop, but he's going to be out there to entertain the children and adults, because we all love puppets. And so we're also going to have some painting, little activities for the children, painting on rocks. We had it last year, and it was such fun for them, so we're going to do that again. Music, great music. Lots of good food. We're even going to have fish this year. We used to have fish in the spring. We had walleye, but we can't get our walleye guy back. But we are going to have fish. We're going to have, of course, traditional hamburgers, hot dogs, all kinds of good things.
Now, do you usually have just one food vendor at the fairs, right? Is that how I remember?
It depends. We usually try to have 2. But for the last couple of years, it's been hard to get these huge, big trailers that they now have inside the fort, because of the gates and everything. They're so tall and so wide. But we're still going to have plenty of food, though. And we're going to have apple pies, fried apple pies, bubble tea. That's a real treat in itself if you haven't had bubble tea.
Okay,
that's
Jeanette,
not
what exactly is bubble tea?
I'm not going to tell you. You have to come and find out. I will say it pops in your mouth. I will tell you that.
All right, so the bubble does connotate a certain chemical reaction going on, right?
Well, there's actually little things in there like bubbles, so it is good. It all comes in different flavors, and we had it last year, and everybody seemed to enjoy it. We're going to have slushies, and we're going to have fudge and other candies and fried pickles, and all those little treats that everybody likes, and of course kettle corn.
So all you diabetics out there, come on down.
Lord, I hadn't had fried pickles since I moved away from Mississippi.
Yeah, my husband's diabetic, so we'll just put everybody in a coma.
Well, now that
it keeps them quiet.
Now that Twinkies are being made again, fried Twinkies,
that would be good.
You're going to make a comeback at our fairs and so forth.
Yeah.
Okay, well, great.
Did you kill us on Twinkies? No, it's like, I'm thinking about those Twinkies right now.
Well, in the South, if it can't be fried, it's not worth eating.
That's right. That's right.
If you can't dip it and fry it, forget about it.
I have a question for Jeanette. Will the country dancers be there?
Cloggers from Mount Vernon's going to be there. We don't have the country dancers, but on Saturday around 2:00, we're going to have the cloggers. And that's pretty much fun. We usually have people who are visiting that like to get in there and clog with them,
Because Jennifer spent quite a few days of her life in fairs dancing.
I sure did.
Some of those tornado winds, I'm sure.
Yeah. One of the tornado that came right down Adams Street when I lived there happened on a dance weekend. The Mountain Folk Festival weekend in 1996 was tornado weekend. One of the groups that we had dancing with us that weekend didn't have a name, and after that weekend they named themselves the Whirlwind Dancers.
Nice.
So yeah, we've danced in the rain at the craft fairs and in the boiling heat and in the cold, and it's been a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, just stay in Kentucky. The weather will change.
That's right.
If you don't like it, it'll change.
Well, I know what I was thinking about the crafts fair is it is so much more than just a retail event, because my oldest son, especially David, always looks forward to going to the guild fairs. And for him, it's like we give them a certain amount to pick something up, but it's all about watching the demonstrations, just being at Indian Fort, just looking at the art. I mean, both of them will just walk down and just ooh and ah, and that's half the fun for them.
Yeah, and we are having a revival of art. I mean, American made is what it is. I mean, people just don't realize that the work and the craftsmanship that goes into an American made piece. And of course the Guild's going on 53 years this year, and so if we've not got it down yet, we're not going to get there.
Right Yeah, so let's hopefully we'll get a lot of local people out there, and it's pretty cool to have the Kentucky Guild of Arts and Craftsmen in Berea.
Oh,
yes, that it's always been
needs to be
here.
Right here.
And when I was talking about it earlier in the news, I was talking about you guys in your new space now, the old Powder Mill Pottery, telling people they need to get out there because you guys have really got that just beautiful renovated space. I mean, from the outside it still looks the same, but you walk in and you're like, wow.
Yeah. Well, it's been a year of work in progress, and we do have the two downstairs galleries finished, but we've got lots of work to do. We are going to teach classes upstairs and hopefully help to grow our next generation of artists, because I think if we don't start now, there's certain, especially the visual arts like leather and some of these things, and the old fashioned basket making and from the bark and all. It's a dying art. So we've got to start now if we're going to have a future with the arts.
Right. Well, and I think you told me you actually have a was it a EKU student who's going to be at the guild? So
I was at the market and came across some students from UK that were set up, and this one lady, Megan Salter, I think's her last name. She's a student, and so she does pottery. And I said, "Hey, would you like to come as a guest artist and be at our spring fair. And so she jumped at the chance. So she's got some really unique things, and we've got some new members. And by having guest artists, we're hoping that we'll see them in August as they jury in and become permanent members.
Right, and really pull in that next generation into your members.
We also have Buddy Dobson, Lloyd Dobson, right here. He's
Right,
fairly,
he's another Potter, right?
Yeah, he's fairly young. I remember when he was going to Southern, and I know one of their activities was make these big wooden hands, and they sold them, and I just happened to buy his, and I've still got it, and here he is now, a member of the Kentucky Guild. So who knows about what's going to happen.
Virus database has been updated.
I guess I won't leave that computer plugged in next time.
Yeah,
Everyone-
it's always good to be reminded that the internet is always there, even
That's
on
right.
radio. Chad, thank you.
I will say this on that note. I have perfected our
You can't
call-in.
ever get away.
Our call-in system is working great, so we'll be
Yeah.
able to do guests
Yeah, so
over the
Along
telephone.
with virus updates, we should hopefully
That's
get
right.
callers.
Yeah, that's
Well,
great.
and one last question for Jeannette. How many members do you have now at the Guild?
We actually have a little over 350 across the state of Kentucky, and of course, our membership reaches out 50 miles, the radius of our border, and so we have a few from Ohio, Indiana, and that kind of
Tennessee.
thing. So
Okay.
Tennessee, yes. So we're growing. We're growing. I think the most we ever had was like 400. So that's kind of our target.
Get back there.
Yeah.
Right. Well, Chad and Jonathan, do you have any questions for Jeannette?
No, but I really do appreciate you coming down here, and I know you're very, very, very busy this week, so that's very nice of you to spend some time down here with us.
I appreciate it,
Well,
especially when the invitation comes from one of my students
Yeah, from a long time ago.
a long time ago.
Yeah, if you're going to be doing classes and stuff like that up there, I'm going to have to get my older one there.
Oh,
He's-
yes.
He's 10, so I think that's young enough for you to start working on him.
Oh, I
to-
would think so.
Alright.
You can't get them too soon.
Yeah, and he'll definitely be dragging us there on Saturday. We never miss a Guild fair anymore.
That's right.
That's great.
All right, thanks a lot, and come back.
Yeah,
Thank
thanks so
you.
much,
I'll
Jeannette.
come anytime you
give us
want
a
me.
wrap-up report at some point.
Oh yeah, would love to.
All right.
Y'all come out now.
All right, we have Jeannette Rowlett here from the Guild, Kentucky Guild of Artisan Craftsmen. Thanks for being here, and we'll be right back after this break with Miss Jennifer Rose. Hello and welcome back to All About Berea. Now we've got Miss Jennifer Rose in here with us, and she has actually got a couple of guests with her. I'm going to let her introduce the girls, even though I know them very well.
Well, I've got my daughter Lydia, who's 11 years old currently, and Isabel, who is 9 years old. And they have been actually playing music with me since before they were born. Lydia gave me a kick so hard one time while I was expecting her. I was playing the guitar, and there was nowhere else for the guitar to rest except on my belly. And she kicked, and it made a sound on the body of the guitar. And it was so loud, it picked it up in the microphone. And people wondered what had happened, especially since I said, "Ooh," right at that moment. So
That was her first note.
That's right. She's been playing percussion for me since before she was born.
She kicked her way into show business.
She
right?
did. So, but it's one of my greatest pleasures to be able to make music with them, and not just, have to set them down in the front row or in a separate room or something like that while I'm making my music. And I'm thankful that I'm in the kind of music industry that can allow that to happen.
Well, I know that touring has and performing out has slowed down for you a little bit, but that is not because you're not busy. You're
That's true.
probably more busy right now,
Yeah.
but it was to our benefit because we could get you in here easier.
Oh, thanks.
But go ahead and tell us what some things that are going on. You've got the farm, and you've got the shop. There's so much going on.
Yeah, well, my parents moved back to Berea. They've been Bereans for a long time, but Dad retired and went to South Carolina for 11 years. And they came back about 6 years ago and purchased a house next door to us. And we thought, oh, how cool. Then when we're gone on our tours and stuff, they can watch our house. And it did work out that way at the beginning. And then Dad got this wild idea and bought an 85-acre farm and proceeded to build a retreat center on it. And we named it Happiness Hills Farm. At the beginning, it was really a place for our family to gather, but it got so nice that other people wanted to gather there too, and it began to be a pretty busy place. So we've worked together on that, and I found that I needed to be a little more available to him. And as he and Mom have gotten older, it's just been a privilege to be there for them. And plus I get to work outside and get my hands dirty and be in the creek and all that great stuff. So we slowed down on the tours, on the longer tours, and we're still doing concerts out and about, and we're still doing a lot of projects in schools. And then my husband got an opportunity to buy a screen printing business in Berea, and it's an industry that he had an extensive background in. In fact, that's how we met. I hired him to do my graphics when I went into music full time. And so we purchased that shop in Berea, and he's done great things with it. And that keeps us around here just a little bit more. And it's cool to be able to really be a part of the community again, and to give back some to the community that really made me who I am.
Well, you're very busy people, but everything you do, the farm is so quality, and the shop is so very nice. I mean,
Thank
the things
you.
that he's doing it's pretty phenomenal. Because, and I have to brag on him because he designed the logo for our radio show that we just got the other day.
And he's so awesome.
And Jennifer's
We're very pleased
sporting
with our
it on
logo.
a shirt right now, so we'll actually have shirts all about Berea to be handed out.
I'm still waiting for my shirt.
I'm sure it'll happen.
You sound like Charlie Brown. I'm still got a bag of rocks.
Well, I know that you've been talking about recording a new album, and you've been dreaming about that. Any progress in that department?
Well, one of the biggest obstacles for me is I've done 10 recordings, and at some point you run into sort of a block about, what do I record next? I'm not a singer-songwriter. I don't do really original material. I try to keep the old material alive, and so it's like, what? I've done this song already, and I've done this song already, and we have a few songs that we're doing together, the girls and me. Some of them I've recorded by myself, and others I haven't, and so I've been trying to think, how do those hang together? But it dawned on me the other day while I was in the garden that maybe I should theme a CD for comings and goings. There's so many songs of welcome and so many songs of goodbye that maybe we could put that together. So who knows? That's the first hurdle overcome, and now I can think about which songs we do and which songs we could come up with too that kind of fit into that theme.
Try to come up with something that makes it fit into like a nice package.
Yeah, because I mean, there's you can of course just do a CD of songs, but it's nice to have a theme and something to go with to direct your thoughts.
Excellent. Well, I'm excited about it. Now, you say that you keep old music alive, and that is your goal. That's what you've worked on for years. But my two favorite songs you actually wrote.
Oh, really?
My Kentucky Home Tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites.
That's a good one.
And one that a lot of people don't talk about very much about yours, but I sing it all the time, and I've actually performed it many times when I do sets places.
Okay, so where's my royalty check there, Chad?
No royalties on live performance. Thank you very
man.
much.
Okay.
But Cumberland River.
Oh, yeah, I like that one too, and I can't play it, so we'd have to get together on that one.
Okay.
Just need some musical accompaniment.
I wrote
there,
a
Chad.
song I can't play.
Yeah, it has a little guitar lick to it.
And Lydia's looking at me. She's like, I don't know what he's talking about. It's because it's on a CD, but you never hear me do it because I can't play it. I wrote it. It's got a mandolin lick in it. It's really nice. But I don't play the mandolin, and I don't play lead guitar either.
So wait a minute.
I'm a little confused about writing something. How does that work? To write something for an instrument you don't play.
The guy that was my engineer at that time was a mandolin player, and so I went to the studio and said, I've got this song, and it's got a mandolin part, and it goes dee-dee-dee-dee. And so I diddled it for him, and he worked on it, and that's actually him on the recording playing it.
Okay, so he like wrote that.
Yeah, and I was going
did the
umchik,
new- and you
umchik,
wrote-
umchik on the
right.
guitar, which I can do.
I can't believe that my favorite song and your girls don't even know it.
Yeah, we'll have to put that disc in and let you hear it.
There aren't many of your songs I can do, so that was one that I could pull off.
Okay,
Well,
yeah.
you know,
We kind of sing in a different range, for
yeah,
sure.
Yeah. Well, you're actually going to perform for us here a little bit, and,
Sure.
and I think the first couple you're going to do with the girls as well here on
Uh-huh.
dulcimer. Tell a little
That's
bit about the dulcimer.
Well-
some people listening might even know what the instrument is.
They might. The dulcimer is Kentucky's official state instrument, and we have a very esteemed dulcimer maker here in Berea. So since this is a show about Berea, we should mention Warren May. His name is on my pick, actually. Lydia's pointing out to me, Warren A. May. Just a fabulous woodworker, and it's on Isabel's pick too. She's showing off. Lydia has a generic pick. Poor Lydia. Oh, it was? Is it rubbed off? We played so much we rubbed it off. Anyway, we love Warren's instruments, and we're two of our three dulcimers that we're playing right now are Warren's instruments. We love going to his shop and love taking visitors to his shop, and hopefully spreading the great news about Warren. And Homer Ledford, another wonderful dulcimer maker, was a college classmate of my parents, so I've known him my whole life too, and was so sorry to lose him, but he's also left a wonderful legacy of dulcimer music for all of us.
And of course, you actually take dulcimers into schools, and you actually have cardboard ones, correct?
Yes, I do not take Warren May dulcimers into schools, except for the ones that we play. But I have discovered a place that I can order cut out dulcimers, and then we fold them up and glue them together in the basement. And I can, afford to have 25 or 30 of those in boxes that I take to classrooms and just teach students a few simple songs. And generally, in a 4 or 5 day project, we've got enough songs to have a little concert for the rest of the students in the school. And the kids that play feel so good about themselves because they, on Monday they knew nothing, and on Friday they can do a concert and people are clapping for them, and they sound pretty good.
That is great. That's a wonderful.
I had never heard about the cardboard dulcimers.
Oh
That's
yeah,
excellent.
yeah, that's a cool. You'll have to see them now. She'll have to show you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, go ahead. What's this first one you're going to play for us?
We're going to do Simple Gifts, which is a shaker tune. It was actually written in Maine, so it doesn't have a whole lot to do with Kentucky, except that we have 2 shaker settlements in Kentucky, and that's actually the farthest west that they officially got. So Simple Gifts is a beautiful song with a beautiful message about what life is truly about. And I can say that the different life that I'm leading now, that doesn't include as many hotels or as many road miles, has taught me even more the value of a true friend and the value of love between people. Ready? best gift of all, like a quiet rain that blesses where it falls. And if you have the gift, you will truly believe it's better to give than it is to receive. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend we will not be ashamed. To turn and to turn will be our delight, till by turning, turning we come round right. Tis a gift to be simple, tis a gift to be free, tis a gift to come down where we ought to be. And when we find ourselves in the place just right, it will be in the valley of love and delight. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend we will not be ashamed. To turn and to turn will be our delight, till by turning, turning we come round right.
Very nice.
right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You
It's
know,
just marvelous watching the three of you do that.
Thanks, Beth.
the Shaker Village has become a favorite gathering spot of my family now. We go
Mhm.
there for birthdays and anniversaries. You know,
Yeah,
things
it's a great place.
Wow. I mean, and to hear that in their gathering hall
Yeah.
and things, that is really
Now, before children, Alfredo and I were part of the singers at Pleasant Hill, and had a wonderful time doing that, and have been back up there a time or two. Most recently for a shape note sing on the day that they celebrate religious music in Kentucky, and kind of bit both of us again. We keep thinking, how can we fit that into our schedule again? Because it is so amazing.
Okay, what do we sacrifice? Time with the dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
All right.
Well, we'll let you do one more number for us on
Okay.
Elsmers, and we'll exit out on that and take a quick break while you
Okay.
switch instruments.
Cool.
All
Works
right.
for me. We're going to do a song called Aiken Drum, which is a song that has its roots in Scotland and was probably a much more serious song in the beginning, but it doesn't have it doesn't really have any remnants of seriousness in it anymore. It's a song about a guy that lives in the moon and is made entirely of vegetables except for his feet.
Okay.
Does that have any reason why your kids are doing part of the chicken dance back there right now?
I really don't know. Oh, because I said we were going to wing it earlier.
Okay.
So now all the radio audience knows that we are winging it on this. Thanks a lot, girls. Yeah.
Hey, you know,
We
when
have
you
to
sound
describe that because people out there don't have the visual.
when you sound
so-
wonderful, then they'll be that much more impressed, right?
Well, it has a lot of verses. It describes, him from head to toe, and we won't really do all of the verses. We'll just kind of hit the highlights. We'll just do the head, but we have to do the feet and the toes. We'll just do the head and the feet and the toes. This is what winging it sounds like in our house.
Head,
Okay,
shoulders.
here we go. No. There was a man lived in the moon, lived in the moon, lived in the moon. There was a man lived in the moon, and his name was Aiken Drum. And he played upon a ladle, a ladle, a ladle, played upon a ladle, and his name was Aiken Drum. his toes were made of popcorn, popcorn, popcorn. His toes were made of popcorn, and his name was Aiken Drum. And he played upon a ladle, a ladle, a ladle. Played upon a ladle, and his name was Aiken Drum. And he played upon a ladle, a ladle, a ladle. Played upon a ladle, and his name was Aiken Drum.
Very good. Well, thank you, Jennifer, and we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back as she switches. As she switches instruments. And girls, thank you so much for your performance. That was very enjoyable. Hello and welcome back to All About Berea. We've still got our special guest in here, Miss Jennifer Rose, who's going to play one more song for us. She actually switched out instruments now. Now tell a little bit about this guitar you're playing here.
Oh, this is a composite acoustic guitar. Sometimes I feel a little bit guilty as a folk musician and an advocate for natural foods and things like that I play a completely man-made guitar. My excuse is that this one you can clean with a wet rag. It is not susceptible to heat or cold. And it's really easy for me to travel around with this.
It makes perfect sense to me.
Plus, it's cool, and it's black, and it has a hole in a different place than usual, and the school kids think it's awesome. So I have an awesome guitar, and it automatically makes me awesome, which is really great.
Yeah. Usually you have to wear really cool, earrings for that. So, hey,
yeah,
guitars work.
I know. This generally gets the 4th and 5th grade boys in my corner. Where, kindergarten and first grade are really easy to get in your corner. It's like, oh, Miss Rose, you're so pretty. Yeah. That's, I love them. But the 4th and 5th grade boys are a little harder sell. The guitar usually does it.
Whatever works.
I tell you. I'll take it.
Okay. Well, all right. You're going to play a little song for us here. And you said it's something funny this time.
Yeah, this is a song that also originated in Scotland and was much longer in its original version. But it migrated to Appalachia and got shortened and genericized. So, every community has these old ladies that we talk about that have it in for their husbands. And that's what this song is about.
Hey, you can sound me. Let's do it.
I know someone who has it in for her husband.
Like, Jonathan is leaning towards the microphone.
Yeah. And the martyr on the other end of the microphone, Jonathan Schinhofen.
Anyway, and this has a great chorus to sing along. So especially, our radio audience, if you feel like singing along, if you just go right ahead. Would help if I could play the guitar. There was an old woman in our town did dwell. She loved her husband dearly, but another man twice as well. Fa la 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 la, fa la 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 la. She went down to the butcher shop to see what she could find, intent upon buying something to make her old man blind. Fa la 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 la, fa la 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 la. She bought 7 dozen old marrow bones and made him eat them all. Said he, "Old woman, I am so blind, I can't see you at all." Fa la 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 la, fa la 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 la. Said he, "I'd like to drown myself, but I cannot find the way." Said she, "Old man, I'll help you, just come along with me." Fa la 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 la, fa la 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 la. She took him to the riverbank, and there she made him stand, while she drew back a few paces to push him from the land. Fa la 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 la, fa la 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 la. She took a running jump to push him off ahead, but the old man stepped aside and she fell in instead. Fa la 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 la, fa la 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 la. But she's no quitter, oh no. "Oh, husband dear, come save me," loudly she did bawl. Said he, "Old woman, I am so blind, I can't see you at all. Fa la 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 la, fa la 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 la." Now this one's for Beth. "Now 7 dozen old marrow bones may make your old man blind, but if you want to kill him, you must slip up from behind. Fa la 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 la, fa la 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 la." Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Can I get you for an accessory to...
And for all
The
those
views
in the
expressed-
audience, that's 7 dozen.
7
right?
dozen
7
marrow
dozen.
bones. Yes, and the views expressed in this song are not necessarily the views of this station or the people on the show.
I think I've just become a
But
vegetarian.
if you need the information, that is 7 dozen marrow bones.
That's pretty funny. I love that song. And when people go to watch Jennifer at her concerts, and I've had the joy of actually running sound for her several times, so I get to see a different perspective of the audience.
Yeah.
And when she sings the songs, the songs of Appalachians, a lot of them, and especially the ones that were brought over from Scotland and the Irish songs, are so dark humor. Yeah, and people aren't ready for it if they're not experienced with it or haven't been around it. They're just not ready for it.
This
Right.
isn't TV, so you didn't see Jennifer's expression as she was singing the fa la la la. It was hard to keep from laughing.
It's a blithe smile. My mother once told me, because I don't take good pictures, especially candid pictures, and my mother once told me, "Your beauty is in your activity," and I've been trying to decipher that ever since. But oh well, I'll take it. I'll take any compliment.
Is that one of those
Like underhanded or backhanded.
moments where you're like, was that was that a compliment?
Thanks.
Did my mother just tell me I was dog
Not photogenic.
No, I have your genes, Mother.
Yeah, we'll just take that. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, now Jennifer, we're going to we're so glad that you were on the show.
Well, I'm glad I could come.
And you're welcome to take your stuff and go, or you're welcome to sit while we finish up.
I'm really going to need to hear the rant, I think.
Oh, okay. Well, and that's where we're at.
Okay.
Each week we rotate around, and we all take a chance to express our opinion on a subject that may not necessarily be the opinion of everybody else in the room, but it's certainly ours.
I think it's fair to say with the 4 of us that, yeah, you're going to always be in a minority with whatever opinion you
You'd probably be in a
express.
25% minority, maybe.
Yeah. It's
So,
called diversity of opinions.
but that's okay. That's what we're all about. So this week it was Jonathan's turn. Last week it was Bob's turn, and he actually had a pretty good one because his was a brag. He ended up bragging on someone for the
one
whole
of our
time. Yeah,
representatives.
for our state reps, which I thought, wow, Bob can really stick it to him if he needs to. If you read his stuff, he doesn't hold back, and for him to be bragging was pretty cool. But Jonathan, I'm going to give you the floor. The representative from Berea is recognized.
Thank you. Well, public attention, fickle as it is, has turned away from the Sandy Hook Elementary School massacre. We will pretty much hear nothing until the next mass shooting, and even the gun control rhetoric, both pro and con, in cyberspace and in Congress has died down as well. There's something particularly distasteful that happened this time in the aftermath of the shooting. I don't see a trend, just that this was a right time, right place kind of thing. Somehow public opinion and the talking heads in the media combined the issues of gun control and mental illness. Gun rights advocates said essentially that there's nothing wrong with access to guns. The problem is when the mentally ill have access to guns. Gun control proponents could hardly stand up to say that no, mental health is not part of this issue. So they went along for the ride, saying, yes, mental health is an important part of the gun violence issue. The people who should have known better, however, are the mental health advocates. Instead of standing on the sidelines watching the battle of guns, many of them took the opportunity, quite cynically in my opinion, to ride this temporary wave in order to bring more attention to their cause. All 3 groups made the wrong move. This is why. By trying to shift attention to access to guns by the mentally ill, The gun rights proponents gave ammunition to their opponents by engaging in a clumsily disguised bait and switch. Oh yeah, they said, there is indeed a problem with gun violence, but it's not our problem. It's society's problem for not taking care of the mentally ill among us. As a side note, I think it's fair to say that legislators who oppose gun control tend to oppose spending more on the very programs that would help the more mentally ill individuals. By allowing the conversation to take this turn, gun control groups weaken all of their arguments for gun control. This was a cynical move as well, because instead of sticking to their position, insisting that issues of violence and mental illness are not meaningfully linked, they feared backlash that might result by not appearing to care about the mentally ill. People on both sides of the debate overlooked the obvious question. Would improving mental health care really change the culture of gun violence? You're much more likely to be killed in gun violence when the shooter has no diagnosable mental illness. Those with mental illness who have access to guns are much more likely to use the weapons on themselves than anyone else. The answer is clearly no. Regardless of where you stand on guns, mental health issues are not relevant to the discussion. I reserve my harshest criticism for those in my field of study, the mental health advocates. Major advocacy groups are desperate to find a way to bring mental health issues into greater public awareness. If necessary, they will hitch a ride on other issues. Instead of staying the course and arguing for mental health education and access to services on their own terms, they tend to pick the flavor of the month. In recent months, it's been guns. They hop on the bandwagon for publicity's sake. They did this not long ago when some argued that post-traumatic stress disorder in vets should be renamed in order to draw more attention to it with veteran-oriented ad campaigns. We in the field know that gun violence is rare even among those with mental illness. Ban guns, give everyone a gun, or restrict guns to those with no mental illness. We know that the decisions about guns and public opinion in the halls of state and federal legislatures will have no impact on the care people with mental illness receive, the stigma they suffer, or the general awareness of mental illness. So I say, shame on you, gun rights advocates. Shame on you, gun control advocates, and mental health advocates, a special shame on you. I know you know better.
And can I say shame on Chad, who just pulled out his gun and showed it to me while you were engaging in that rant. And then acted like he wanted me to grab it.
I was
Beth, it wasn't loaded.
It wasn't.
Ha 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 ha.
No, I
What
can.
would you done if I had grabbed it?
See, on this
and
particular subject, we're not so much at odds. I did think that the whole going after the mental health thing, dragging that kind of into. I know that some people appreciated the spotlight, like, oh, we're getting free attention for mental health rights and the state of mental health in this country and how we treat it. So let's jump on the bandwagon. But every bandwagon's not worth jumping on. So I can't really go against you on that one, John. Even though we're sometimes at odds on the gun thing. Okay.
I own a BB gun.
Now, see, that's a more cruel way to take someone out than a real gun.
Like, what is that, salt rock?
Because if you're going to kill me with a BB gun, it's going to take you a couple days, okay? That's a bad way to get it. Right?
Chad,
it's like Chinese water torture with a BB.
Look, if someone actually starts shooting you with BBs, you might want to run and not hang around for a couple days for them to keep shooting at you. But that's just my take on the issue.
Walk forward, grab the gun, and conk them over the head.
Now that would be another choice you could make. But hey, if you want to hang out and see how long it takes them to take you down, that's all right.
Now, I have to admit, Letha and I are big fans of target shooting. We love to target shoot. And we used to get the...
and what is it that you target?
Paper plates mostly. We must really hate paper plates.
Newspaper editors.
Die! All right, we're not even going to go there, Chad. If you ever start shooting the Berea Citizen, you are going to find a new co-host. Thank you very much.
All right. We love to target shoot, and we would always have foreign exchange students either live with us or the Danish exchange program at Berea
Yeah.
College for the dancing. We would have several of those people that we've become friends with over the years. What's the program called?
Danish American Exchange.
Is that this what
That's the name of it.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
anyway.
It's always fun to take Europeans out shooting.
Oh yeah, when you whip that gun out and you start popping an automatic pistol off, they're like, that's legal.
Are you allowed?
and then they look at you for a minute like, I want some of that.
Can I try?
That's right. And then you're shooting all day long because they're loving it. Bang, 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 bang. And, they hate paper plates as much as I do. So
The milk jugs are the most
you have
fun.
a shared enemy.
Yeah, that's
Bond
right.
over.
I'll go on record here saying I love shooting.
Okay.
Just
So
never,
now
never
that-
It's not
owned a gun.
people, is it?
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I'll have to take you
Well,
target
let me
shooting
tell
next
you
time.
one funny quick story here about guns. I grew up Mennonite, who are the traditional Mennonite testimony is pacifism, and so I grew up very anti-gun, anti-war, anti-violence. And the one time my father ever considered getting any type of weapon, even a BB gun, was when the birds started eating his strawberries. And that's
That'll
like
do
when
it.
every
That'll do it right
last
there.
pacifist, and he even talked about he had heard if he killed one and hung the corpse up, that also might keep the birds away from his
It's a deterrent.
strawberries.
See,
And that
that's
is
a
first
killing
time
offense.
that
It would
That's what the
keep me away
Assyrians-
from his
that
strawberries.
that Glenn Meyers ever struggled with his pacifistic testimony
Really?
is when they're getting his strawberries.
I tell
That
you
was
what,
just
strawberries
crossing
is killing the
some
fence.
kind of line. Strawberry killing fields.
Well, that
And as a child, I was quite taken aback at the ferocity
I
that he
can
brought to the
imagine.
issue.
that's when I bought a scope. Was when something was getting into my sweet corn. I mean, you don't mess with my sweet
You don't mess with the
corn.
produce, man.
No.
Don't mess with the produce. And then people lose all morals.
I'm just picturing this vegetarian. I won't eat meat, but I'll kill you if you touch my
But I got a dog who does.
That's right. Thank you for sharing your thoughts, Jonathan.
So there were a couple of political things. Bob was not on the show today, but we need to touch on real quick. One was the
Well, you're gonna the budget
the
with city
budget.
council. They did the
There were two-
preliminary.
there were two things that on the budget that were touched on that were added or asked to be added to, and I think a preliminary study was put in for. Well, anyway, it was requested and it's been put
Yeah.
aside. It's not spent on it yet, but to go into the retirement community.
Well, it was a feasibility study on Berea, basically to see, how Bereans feel about the retirement community. Is this something that would work? And so, there's a request for some funding. I think they were looking around $5,000. And so the city.
And who was it there?
Bob Schaefer.
Bob
was there
Schaefer.
at the- as the
I'm
city
sorry,
councilman.
Bob.
He's
couldn't remember.
he's kind of revived this discussion,
Well,
which
there's
kind
lots
of
of people
fell out.
involved
Oh
in
yeah.
it, yeah.
Well, it's been a long time since it had been formally brought up because, of course, for those of you, Church of
and
God
from-
had bought that large property by Slate Lick, and it's just kind of now lied there after the where's that lay there, lie or lay? But anyway, since the economy.
It's sit
tanked
there.
in
It has
08.
sit there.
It's sitting there. It's sitting there fallow.
Well, anyway, the feasibility study put in was not necessarily for that property either. It was for the feasibility.
No, it's just a retirement center in general, right?
And, yeah, having a retirement community or center for the Berea area, whether it was feasible. Yeah, okay.
Okay, because
Which is a good way of going about it. Then you're
Mm-hmm.
not locked into some corporation telling you that yes, this is good or no, this is bad. This is the city.
Yeah, who's
setting
going to
their
do it
own
based on their
terms.
own agenda and what they want to accomplish? Yeah,
The other thing there was, of course, the cats with
it's
Pamela.
CARE,
with-
and the acronym is CARE. And I'm sorry, I can't think of what that stands for right now, but it's the group that works with
Pamela Corley.
Pamela Corley- with I was about to say euthanizing, not euthanizing, spaying and neutering. Feral cats as well as I think
I'd rather be
strays. I think they ignore the funny looking man in the corner.
as opposed to the latter, you'll take the okay.
Of course, the wife
euthanasia.
gets to weigh in on that too. So anyway, the spaying and neutering of feral cats, and then some of it's catch and release, and then sometimes they also go and try to get them adopted. So
And they had displayed quite a success story, right? Of how many cats they took care of and adoptions.
I wish I could remember that number, but
And
was
we
it
have a
getting
couple
to?
of success stories at Happiness Hills. thanks to Pamela and also TLC Cat Rescue.
Yeah, it's
Excellent.
really interesting
We did.
how many kind of feral, self-sustaining cat communities there are in Berea. And the point, of course, is you want to get in control of those so they don't keep having babies. But
Multiplying,
it is
yes.
kind of interesting when you really get into the dirt and talk to Pamela about how many there are
Mhm.
that, and they catch their own food. And
Now the costs involved
it.
with that, it looked high to me, and I'll be honest, it still part of me feels like it was high. But then you're telling me that it's really not, that it's a good deal.
Well, as far as, what the cost of spaying and neutering, because the only thing they're asking for is, of course, the spaying and neutering itself. There's no administrative costs here. They do this for volunteers, the people. So is that the cost you're talking about?
Yeah, the total cost.
Yeah.
If you were to call the vet and go in for the the surgery and the shots and everything, the kind of thing you would get at one of the clinics, it's at least twice as much.
I think it's about 150 you're looking
Yeah,
at.
it's way more at the vet because they have those overhead expenses and probably if you've got a house cat that you're having as a treasured pet, that's the way to go because then their medical records are on file at your veterinarian. But if you're dealing with a stray, or in our case, cats in your barn, it's a whole lot more feasible to take care of them through a spay and neuter clinic. And then you're doing the responsible thing, but you're also recognizing that these are not treasured cats that have a bloodline and things like that.
Well, I know one thing that, because of course the question might come up, why cats? Why would the city be concerned about that? But one thing that I believe it was Virgil Burnside made at an earlier meeting, I think maybe a year ago, is that you have to consider it partly a public health issue in Berea if you have a lot of stray cats, especially ones that haven't been gotten their shots and stuff, and then also kind of a public nuisance too. So I think that's where it comes under the level of the city supporting them.
And some people would just as soon have us go out and shoot them all, and so that's that's
Gets
certainly
back to your gun
Bringing
control
it right
thing.
back to your rant.
Making it
Yeah.
real,
I'm
real.
Just saying that's a that's a nice humane option.
As-
to-
Mhm.
I'll
Yeah,
stick to
and
paper
poor
plates.
Pamela.
I'm not going to go the cat route. Sorry.
No, I wasn't saying shooting them is a humane option. I meant that.
You should
Right.
see him every time he sees a paper
Control.
plate. It's
Yeah.
a little bit worrisome, actually. He gets a gleam in his eye, and they turn red.
Well, see, most people eat after they shoot the thing, but Chad eats off the paper plate and then shoots it.
That's right.
That's a
You got
real
it.
man.
But he doesn't name it. That would be the real concern. All right, Fred.
Okay,
Taking you out
was it
back.
Elmer Fudd, I'm thinking I'm hunting rabbits. I'm hunting plates.
Hunting the wet, hunting the play.
The plate.
Well, thank you all. It's been a wonderful show. I've had a great time. Thanks so much for being here, Jennifer. Every time you're around, it's just a pleasure.
And for
Thanks
bringing
so,
your
so
two
much.
lovely
Talented.
cohorts and
Yes.
talented,
Yeah.
lovely young women.
And thanks again to Jeannette Rowlett for joining us.
You're here.
Appreciate having her here as well. And please get out and check out the Guild Fair with her.
Yeah,
She
and
would
all the
appreciate
other
it.
exciting stuff happening this weekend.
All right.
Lots of
Thanks
stuff going on.
for joining us. You're listening to All About Berea. You can find us on BereaOnline.com. You can also find us on Facebook, but we don't actually have our own Facebook page. I'll be creating that soon, but all of us individually are on Facebook. So we'd be glad to hear from you if you've got
I
questions.
don't use mine, so don't use mine.
I use mine. I use
I don't
mine
use
on my
mine.
page.
Ignore Jonathan and Beth's Facebook, please.
If you want to request someone to be on the show or something you'd like to hear us talk about, please send us a message. Like I said, you can find me on Facebook, Chad Hembree. You can
Community announcements that you want, please
through the
let
Berea
us know.
Citizen. You can contact Beth and Jonathan as well, actually. So thanks again, and join us next week for All About Berea.